discuss the Bridgetown Seventh-day Adventist Primary School and the Barbados Secondary School coming on as sponsors to this show. We have a very special part in the segment telling you about our sponsors. And without further ado, I just want to introduce my special guest, Claudette Moore. Claudette Moore, can you say hi for us, Claudette? Just say hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Great, great. Nice to have you, Claudette. I'm just going to read something, a little special about Claudette. She has a very deep bio. I'm going to just read something very special about Claudette. Claudette has over 30 years of experience at the National Insurance Office. She was assigned to benefits section for the majority part of her employment and has held positions of clerical officer, senior clerk, insurance officer 3, and worked in the areas of processing and approved benefits claims. She has also worked with benefits and medical appeals tribunals in the preparation and presentation of cases where the director disallowed or disqualified a person from receiving a benefit or pension. Claudette has also worked on 3 major projects for the implementation of computerization at the National Insurance Office in 2010, 2004, and 2015. Claudette currently holds the position of Insurance Officer 2, acting, and is assigned to the Customer Relations section. Now, she is responsible for supporting her members in handling customer inquiries, which have been escalating, as you can imagine. In her current position, she is also responsible for conducting interviews for a person who have claimed unemployment benefit and non-contributory old age pensions. Now, that's just a little bit about who Claudette is. Now, I want Claudette know. I just want to make sure that I covered most of the things. If we have to say everything about you, Claudette, we will spend a lot more time. But nevertheless, that's not necessary. Great. So without further ado, Claudette, just say something. The bio is something, but the person who really is Claudette Moore.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well and keeping safe at this time. Basically, Claudette is what the bio said. I've been at National Insurance for most of my life, working life. I'm currently assigned now to the customer relations section, so you can imagine that is one of the busiest sections in National Insurance now, with over 30,000 unemployed people out there. So we are very busy at this time, and I will take the opportunity now to ask you to bear with us if you're having challenges with our phone lines, because we are having some troubles with the phone. But we are doing our best, and trust me, all hands are on deck to get your unemployment claims processed.
All right. Thank you very much, Claudette. Now, we'll be going straight to the questions. As for those of you, any persons who have just joined us for the first time, we just want to welcome you. If this is your first time being on TNT, we just want to welcome you. All those on Zoom, we want to welcome you. All those who are on YouTube, we just want to welcome you. As always, in this section I will ask the first set of questions. Then you can post your questions on the chat on Zoom and also on YouTube. So we have persons our producers are on YouTube. Our producers are also on Zoom. You can post your questions. We will compile them. And at the second part of the show, then my co-host, Nicholas Bedford, will then come in and ask those questions as well. So we want you to be part of the program. So if you are in Barbados, regionally or internationally, we just want to take this time to welcome you to TNT Thursday Night Talk. And we have with us Claudette Moore, and as we discuss the impact of COVID-19 on your NIS situation. Now, our first question, what is the role of NIS generally under normal circumstances? Claudette, let's start with that. What is the NIS?
Okay, before I get started, I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation which I've prepared because it has some points where the visual will help us in our discussion this evening.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so I've welcomed you. And a little bit about the NIS. The NIS was established in 1967, so we're a pretty old scheme. in terms of national insurance schemes in the Caribbean. And our major purpose, as you would know here, is to provide benefits for the country. So that's why we were set up. We were set up to provide benefits in cases of sickness, maternity, employment, injury, any loss of earnings. Basically, we are here to provide you for benefits for those things. All right. So that's our major purpose. I'll take this opportunity now to tell you that all persons, employed and self-employed, must be insured under the Act. So once you work for more than $21 in any week or $91 in a month, you are supposed to become insured. You come and register with us and you pay contributions. So just bear that in mind. Minimum of $21 in a week or $91 in a month, you are expected to be insured with us and pay your contributions so that you will be covered for our benefits.
Okay.
I'll move on now to the host of benefits that we provide for you. We've divided them into two sets of benefits. We call the one short term, which is just what they say. They last for a little while and then we stop. And you have your long-term ones, which go on for quite a while, most of them until death us do part. All right, so you got short-term benefits like sickness, employment injury, maternity, unemployment, and funeral grant. The long ones are the ones that we pay as pensions, which are your invalidity, your disablement, your old age pensions, your survivors, and death benefits. So that's our basic reason for being here in Barbados, to provide you with these benefits when needed.
Okay. All right, so we will stop there. We're gonna make sure that you can stop sharing the slides, so that what we're gonna do is that we're gonna come back to the slides, because I know that persons will need the information. They will need the information. So we're gonna come back to these slides. So now, right, we're gonna come back to these slides, yes, because we're gonna focus on that. What is the role of the NIS now during COVID? Now we heard about what is the NIS before COVID. Now what is the NIS during COVID? What is the role of the NIS during COVID?
Well, during COVID, we are going to do just what we have been doing all along. We are going to provide benefits for those persons who need it. And at this time, the bulk of our benefits is based on the unemployment, because obviously the unemployment situation in Barbados is unprecedented. We've never had a situation that we've had almost 40,000 people submitting claims to the National Insurance Office. And that is basically where we are right now in terms of the unemployment situation. However, there are still people out there who are working, who will still have fall ill for whatever reason, and will submit sickness benefits. So we're still processing and paying sickness benefits. We're also doing the same for employment injuries. Ladies are still having babies, so we continue to pay maternity benefit. And obviously those pensioners out there are depending on us for the monthly pension. But as you will understand right now, the bulk of our claims are focused on the unemployment benefits.
I can imagine, and you guys are swamped with calls, a lot of paperwork. So given all of that, how do I submit my sick paper, my forms, any forms I have, maybe sick, anything I need to claim? How do I submit? So explain to us, all of us who are listening, who are watching, explain to us, how do we submit our forms online, or do we come in to you guys? Explain the process.
Well, unfortunately, right now, we do not have the facility for the online submission of claims. The only claim that we have since the COVID has come upon us, we have the facility to submit your unemployment claims online. However, all the other ones that need to be submitted must be submitted by dropping them in the drop-off boxes at our office. There's one at the entrance to our car park on the south, and we also have one outside the building at the northern end. You can also come inside and drop the forms inside. So any other form except unemployment benefit, you must still drop it in the drop boxes and bring it in person.
Okay, so only on employment benefits we submit online.
Correct.
Okay, good. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen.
For right now, we are working to have the others online, but they're not available as yet.
Okay, great. Now, given that we have so many persons unemployed now because of COVID-19. Now, I want you to explain to me and all of the persons here who are listening and watching, given that you have all of these claims to process, what is the expected waiting time that we should expect to wait for a check coming from the NIS?
Unfortunately, I am not going to commit to say that it is a specific time right now, but we are trying our best to process the claim so that a person can have a check within 4 weeks. But I am not going to stick to that because there are some cases where we will not be able to do that for one reason or the other. But what I will do, I'll encourage persons who, if you've waited at least 4 weeks and you haven't gotten the check as yet, you either call the office 467-4647, or you send an email to customer.service@bginis.gov.bb.
Okay. We want you to repeat that again because persons are listening. And what we're going to also do, we're going to ask the producers to, any information that you give us that we need to share with our online viewers, we're going to put it on YouTube and also on Zoom as well in the chat. So we just want you to repeat the information slowly for us again.
Okay, our contacts number, we have a call center dedicated just to take your calls. The number is 467-4647, or you can send an email. You go to our website, www.nis.gov.bb. And there's lots of information there, I must say. But if you want to get information, you can send an email to customer.service@bginis.gov.bb.
Okay, all of my producers, they heard that and they are raring and ready to go to take the information for those on YouTube and those also on Zoom as well. Now,
I must add something else here too.
Yes.
We have the facility where you yourself can come into our national insurance office using the internet. It's a portal we have. So it's like we letting you into national insurance to see your own information. You won't be able to see my information. You wouldn't be able to see Justin's information. It's just your information you will see. So there is a form again on our website, on our download page, that you may complete and submit to us. You can also submit this to the same customer.service@bginis.gov.bb, or you can bring it in the office and drop it off, where we will give you access then, so you can check on your own claims. You can check to see if you have the correct information for you in terms of your address, date of birth, that kind of stuff. So I advise people and I encourage you to apply for that online facility where you can check things for yourself.
Okay, that is really important because we need to know how to check on things on ourselves. That leads me on to the next question. Now, you constantly hear, when I say you, I mean all of the persons, and especially in Barbados, because we're talking about things happening in Barbados. You hear a person say, I am unemployed as a result of COVID-19 layoff, but my employer was not paying in national insurance contributions. How will I be affected and what can I do?
Okay, yes, we do get that problem sometimes where employers are taking out the contributions, but they're not submitting them to us. However, the director will not penalize a person who falls into that category. We will work with the employer to submit your earnings schedule. The earnings schedule is a form which tells the director how much money you earned. So once we have that information, we will be able to calculate your benefit based on that. And then one of our inspectors will work with the employer to get the contributions coming in. So we will not penalize you. Once we can get in contact with your employer to submit the earnings schedules, we will be able to process your claim.
Okay, so let's add on to that question. The employer is not paying me, Justin. I realize, if I enter the portal, I realize that there's no information on me, on my, the contributions that were supposed to be sent to the NIS on my behalf. Now I realize that. What can I do? Can I just say to the director, well, hey, I work for company X. I want you guys to investigate. you guys have investigative officers that will investigate my situation?
Yes, we do. If you come to report the matter to us, we have a compliance section where our inspectors are assigned, and the inspectors are the employees who have the authority to go to an employer and say, I need to see this. And our law gives them the right to do that. So they can go to visit the employers. Well, obviously now we know we have a little bit of issue with that with the COVID situation, but that's the mandate of the inspectorate section, to go to the employer and get information. And as I said, even if it's a situation where there's financial difficulty, the employer can sit with the inspector and agree on some kind of plan something going. But yes, we encourage employees to check on their contributions, make sure everything is in order. And the minute that they see that something is not in order, please report it to us.
So I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. It is for us, the employee, we are also asked to check on our contributions to make sure that our employers are putting them in.
Correct. And make sure that they are also reporting on the correct earnings as well, because we've had instances where an employer reports, I've paid this person $2,000, but really and truly the person is being paid $4,000. But he's only reporting $2,000 to us because the less he reports, the less contributions he has to pay. Because whenever employer pays you, he takes a part of your earnings and pay to us, and he also has to put a part as his part of the contributions. So that is something you also look out for. Make sure that he's reporting on what he's actually paying you. And I do encourage, again, I will repeat it, we need to check on these things, because sometimes we reach 67 years old and we're ready for a pension. And you said to me, oh yes, but I've worked all my life. And we only have 5 years of contributions for you. So yes, please get on the portal and keep checking on your payments.
Okay, based on the question you just raised, so let's say we're doing a hypothetical situation. I'm 67 years old, and I realize now I only have 5 years of contributions. What will happen in my case? Do I get just 5 years of money? Do you guys run down my employer? What do we do with those situations?
If it is a recent case where we can still get in contact with that employer, yes. As I said, we will refer it to the inspectorates and compliance section, where one of the inspectors will go. But yes, we are coming across these cases now where a person came and say they worked since in the 70s. The employer died. We don't have any record of them anymore. They're out of the system. There's no way we can contact them. But if it is one that we can contact, where the employer is still going and you know how we can contact him, we will go after him still.
Okay, great. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are now joining us, we just want to let you know, we just want to welcome you to TNT Thursday Night Talk. And we have with us Claudette Moore. She works at the NIS. She's more than capable of answering our questions. And we have some other persons in the background. We just want to let you know too, just in case you ask a very hard question. I know Claudette will cover all, but just in case you guys have a very hard question, we have a backup source. I will not tell you who that person is yet. But then we also want to let you know that persons who just joined us, that you can send your questions in the chat box on Zoom and also on YouTube. We have a producer on YouTube and a producer also on Zoom. And then Nicholas Bedford, our co-host, will then ask Mrs. Moore those questions for you. Now, we're hearing a lot about short time. Is there a calculation that we can calculate short time? Now, I'm a worker, I'm working monthly. Now, I'm placed now on 2 weeks and then 2 weeks later in the next month. How do we calculate now that short term scenario?
Okay, short time is one of those benefits that I think I will need to share the screen again so you can get the visual, because it is not as simple. I know that the Right Honorable Prime Minister said, oh, you can put the person on 3 days on and 2 days off and they will get short time. It is not as simple as that, because we have a law which has not been changed, which governs short time. And in order to qualify for short time, your current earnings, that is the earnings you're working for while you are put on these short or reduced weeks, must be more than 50%. Earnings must be cut by more than 50% of what you earned during what we refer to as a relevant quarter. It is not based on your current earnings So let's say you work for $4,000 up until February, and from March, your employer puts you on reduced working hours and cuts you to $2,000. That does not automatically make you qualify for short time. Even if he cut you to $1,999, it does not automatically mean that you are on short time, because we are going to base that earnings on what we refer to as our relevant quarter. So if I can, I will share the screen now so that you have a little better impact if you see the visual.
Go right ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so I am going to explain relevant quarter because it's important to understand relevant quarter to understand how we do the calculations in national insurance. All of your short-term benefits are calculated based on what we call the relevant quarter. So anybody who becomes unemployed during, let's start off, okay? National insurance divides the calendar year into four parts of 3 months each. So you have a quarter that says January to March, one that says April to June, one that says July to September, and one is October to December. So the year for national insurance purposes is divided into 4 parts, 3 months each. And each one of those 3 month periods we call a quarter. So let's say you become unemployed. Now, in the month of May, your benefit quarter is the quarter April, May, and June. That's the quarter in which your benefit is going to commence. So to find your relevant quarter, we ignore the quarter which is just prior to our quarter, the benefit quarter. So if you note here, January, February, March, we're looking at slide.
We didn't see the screen yet.
Pardon?
You want to share the screen again?
Wait, it hasn't been, oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. Right, so as Mrs. Moore shared the screen, we just want to remind you. That's all right. Right, go right ahead.
All right, slide 14. All right. All right, so sorry about that.
That's all right.
So we will talk about relevant quarter. I'll go over it again, and this is good exercise because most people do not get it at the first go. So this is my opportunity to say it the second time. All right, so we become unemployed. As I said, national insurance divides the quarter into the calendar into 4 quarters. 1 January to March, April to June, July to September, October to December. A person becomes unemployed during this current quarter, April, May, June, because we are in the month of May. So this is what we refer to as your benefit quarter. That's the quarter in which we're going to start paying your benefit. In order to qualify for the benefit, we are not going to look at your earnings in that quarter. We're not going to look at the earnings in the quarter just prior to that, which is January, February, March. So that's the quarter just before the April to June quarter. The quarter we're going to use, which we call the relevant quarter, is the quarter October to December. So in order to qualify for your benefit, we are going to look for your earnings during the period October to December of last year. Anybody who becomes unemployed now, that is the period we are looking for in order to calculate your benefit. Okay, so in the relevant quarter for short-time benefits is what we're going to use your earnings in the relevant quarter to look to see if what you are being paid now in unemployment benefit is less than half of that. All right, so I'm going to move on a little bit further on to show you that. Let's look at the qualifying conditions first thing. In order to qualify for the unemployment benefit, you must be over 16 and under pensionable age. Bearing in mind right now that our standard pensionable age is 67, but you can claim a pension from as early as 60, sorry. So if you claim your pension at 60 and you are unemployed, you will not get it. If you have not claimed your pension yet, and you're between 60 and 66, you will get it. If you are 67, you will not qualify for unemployment benefits. Second condition, you must be insured for at least 52 weeks. So basically a year. There are little conditions, exceptions to that, but I wouldn't go into that now, but there are exceptions to the 52-week rule. But basically, we have to have you being working and paying national insurance for at least 52 weeks. Third condition, you must have at least 7 contributions paid or credited in the relevant quarter. That's why I had to start off with telling you what the relevant quarter is. So in the relevant quarter, you must have had work. Basically, that is what this is saying, paid or credited contributions. That says you must have worked at least 7 weeks, or even if you didn't work 7 weeks, we would have had to pay you a benefit and awarded you what we call a credited contribution for any of those weeks. Once we count 7, you qualify, you're good to go. Next condition is that during the 3 quarters ending with the relevant quarter, you must have had to have at least 20 contributions. That is, you would have had to work or we paid you a benefit for at least 20 weeks. So those are the four conditions that must be met in order to qualify for unemployment benefit, whether it's short-time unemployment or regular unemployment. All right, let's go quickly on to short time, since that is the relevant question here. Short time, let's talk about this. Short-time unemployment benefit is payable to a person who satisfies all the conditions for unemployment benefit. So bear that in mind. You have to qualify with all the conditions that I have said previously. It is payable to a person whose earnings are reduced, whose current earnings, as I said earlier, are reduced less than 50% of his average earnings in the relevant quarter, not his current earnings. Must emphasize this. We are looking at his earnings in a relevant quarter. So anybody who is off now in May, we are looking at your earnings for the period October to December last year. And that is what we're going to use to see if you will qualify for your short time. It's also paid in scenario where a person has more than one employer and is dismissed from one, and that one must be his name. Most people now are falling into the category of the bullet 2, where you're getting reduced earnings. All right, so basically this is what we're going to do to calculate your short time. We are going to total your earnings in the relevant quarter. So we got to get your total earnings for the entire period, October to December last year. We're going to get your average earnings in the relevant quarter, because we want to break that down, that whatever you got there, we got to break it down to a weekly amount. Because remember, as I said, we have to find out if what you're earning now is less than 50% of what you earned in the relevant quarter. So we're going to break that down into an average weekly earnings. Then we're going to find half of your average weekly earnings, because we need to know how much is your 50% to know if you're falling below 50%. Then we're going to calculate the difference between what you are earning now while you are in short time and the average weekly earnings in the relevant quarter. So that's the difference we're going to work your benefit on, and we'll find 60% of that, because unemployment benefit is basically 60% of your average weekly earnings. That's a whole lot, and I know I'm going to get questions on that, but I'm going to show you now the example, which will hopefully make it a bit clearer for you. So you have an employee who is working a reduced week. He started from the 4th of May this year. He is now earning $250 a week. He's on a reduced week, and this is what his employer is paying him now. His benefit quarter, April to June, because he's off in May. His relevant quarter is October to December, because we ignore January to March and we go to the one just prior. This is what his earnings in the relevant quarter look like. He earned for October, he earned $1,750. In November, he also earned $1,750. And in December, he got a little bonus. So he earned $3,372. So his total earnings in the relevant quarter were $6,872. Everybody's with me so far? I trust we got some hands going up there. Good. All right. So to calculate the short time, as I said, we're going to total his earnings in the relevant quarter. So we can see already his total earnings are $6,872. we have to find an average weekly for that period. So his average weekly earnings, because we have a lump sum total, but we want to find out what your average weekly earnings in that quarter. So we divide by 13, and we're dividing by 13 because there were 13 weeks in that quarter. There were 13 Mondays in that quarter, because for national insurance purposes, a week is a Monday to a Saturday. So when I look at the period October, November, December, there were 13 Mondays to Saturdays. So therefore, we're going to divide by 13. Half of what we get out there, that 528.62, is basically your 50%. So half of that is 264.31. Remember what he's earning now? He's earning $250. So when I look at what he is earning now, I can definitely see that it is less than the 50% of what he earned in the relevant quarter. So I know, yes, this gentleman qualifies for short time. If his employer had decided to pay him $270, he would not qualify for short time, because that is more than 50% of what he earned in the relevant quarter. So this is what I want you to bear in mind. It is not based on your current earnings. What we're going to calculate on, we calculated on your earnings in the relevant quarter. Okay?
Very well said. Continue.
Basically, then what we do, we got his average earnings in the relevant quarter. We got his earnings now. We find the difference, and then we find 60% of that difference. And that is what we will pay him as a weekly rate for unemployment benefit. But I want you to, as I said, I will emphasize it, it is not based, we don't do a calculation based on what you are paid now, because we've had too many scenarios where, as I said, the person works for $400 now. The employer says, oh, I'm going to put you on short time and pay him $200. And those people will fail the test because they do not work for less than half of what they worked for in the relevant quarter.
All right, that was.
So we will. I know we're going to get questions on that, so we will come back to that if needed.
Certainly. So what we're going to do now? We're going to prepare for a break. You know, we have our sponsors, so we have to prepare for a break. We're going to ask our producers to get ready with our sponsors video, and also we're going to ask my co-host Nicholas Bedford. He's going to compile all of the questions from YouTube, all of the questions from Zoom. So after our break, we're going to pause for worthy cause, and then we're going to have our questions coming from Zoom, our questions coming from YouTube, and Nicholas Bedford, our co-host, will do that after our short commercial break. All right?
Okay.
Wait on the flag. We seem to have some technical difficulties, but as soon as our sponsors get that sorted, we're going to come right back to our video. We can come right back to our video. So as soon as our sponsors get that sorted, we will come back to our video. We're going to ask Nicholas Bedford right now. We're going to ask Nicholas Bedford right now to come and ask a few questions, and then we're going to go back to the video. So Nicholas Bedford, we're going to ask my co-host, Nicholas Bedford. He has all the questions from YouTube, all the questions from Zoom to ask our capable guest, Mrs. Moore from the NIS. On to you, Nicholas Bedford.
Hi, pleasant good evening, Justin, and to our guests. Our YouTubers, they are posting a number of questions, and one of the questions that they have for us tonight, the first one says, this person asks, if I have submitted my green paper on the online portal, how do I know that it's being processed? They say, I have not received any feedback from NIS as yet via email. If a person has submitted their green paper on the portal, how do I know that it is being processed?
I can assure that person asking that question that once they have submitted it, it is being processed. And here again is where I can invite them to make the application for access to the online portal so they can look into the system and see if that claim is being processed. But once you submitted it, I can assure you it is going to be processed. But as I said, due to the volume of the claim, there may be some delay in the processing of some applications.
Thank you very much. Another question quickly, Grace ADA asks, if someone has worked for over 20 years and due to health impairment, illness, or accident, and they qualify for invalidity benefit, they want to know how is it calculated?
I will have to share that calculation with you in another forum because that is not as simple as the unemployment one. That needs a little more details. So what I can do, I will share that with the host and he can disseminate that to the callers. Sorry, listeners.
Okay, this one is a little more interested. I believe this person would have been listening to the Prime Minister's press release. They asked, there is some talk about lower birth in Barbados affecting NIS in the future. They want to know if this is true and why is it true? How does it affect everybody else?
Well, based on our last actuarial report, it is accurate because the actuary was concerned that because of the low birth rate and because of the older people are living longer, that the scheme might be in a little bit of trouble sometime later, because if you don't have those younger people coming into the workforce, paying contributions, and we're taking out paying to pensioners up until past 100 years old, many of them are passing that age now, that can have some impact. But right now, especially due to this COVID situation, we are having an actuarial review again so that we can look at the impact of this current epidemic on the scheme as well.
Okay. And the last one that we have so far, asking a question, I'm not sure if you are the person to answer. If you're not, you can say so. But they're asking, if your NIS check was sent to your workplace with your name and the HR manager opened all the checks received before forwarding them to the person, they want to know if NIS can do anything about that or if they have to go to the police.
Well, the only condition under which we will send a check to your employer is if that is the address that you gave us to send it to, because under normal circumstances, you will submit your claim to us with your address, and that is the address we will use. So the only condition we will send it to your employer is if you have told us to do that, and then I will assume that that's an agreement between you and your employer.
Okay. And one for the road. How long, as an employer, how long can I keep my employees on short pay?
Well, there is no stipulated time to keep your employees on short pay. That may be a question you may have to direct to the Chief Labor Officer. but I can tell you the conditions as are right now. I'm not sure if there's going to be any change to those conditions right now, but if you keep an employee on layoff, whether it is short time or regular unemployment for a period of 13 consecutive weeks, the person is entitled to severance payment. Also, if you keep them on 16 weeks, they don't have to be consecutive, in a 26-week period, that person is also entitled to a severance payment. That is according to our current law.
Okay, that's 16 of 26.
16 in a 26-week period or 13 consecutive weeks.
Okay, so those 26 weeks can be broken up in 2-week intervals or 3-week intervals.
Once 26 weeks have passed and we can find 16 weeks of layoff, that person is entitled to severance. So you can bring them on, take them off, bring them on, take them off. Once in a 26 weeks period, we see a 16-week, severance is applicable, as is our current law.
Okay, and this one is Justin. How this person is asking with the, they are asking about the 40,000, with the 40,000 persons currently unemployed. They're asking, isn't the NIS going to run out of money to pay? Should they be worried about that? Is the NIS going to run out of money to pay?
The national insurance is quite capable of paying the monies. As far as I know. I speak not on behalf of the director now, because I do not have the privileged information that would be available to like our financial controller, our board and stuff like that. But I can assure you, the National Insurance Fund is quite capable of handling it right now. What I can say though is that when you send your contributions to the National Insurance Office, we divide it up into little parts. When I share the presentation, you can see that again. Some goes into what we call the unemployment benefit account. That is the account that we would generally pay unemployment benefit from. Unfortunately, because there are almost those 40,000 claims out there right now, we do not expect that that fund will be able to handle that those for that extended period. But just bear in mind, there are other funds that we can take money from and put into that account. It's similar to your bank account. You may have some money on your savings account, but you don't have any on your checking account, so you can transfer some. So we can do things like that at the National Insurance Office.
Okay, so there's no need to worry yet.
I speak on behalf of Claudette Moore, not on behalf of the director. I do believe you don't have to worry.
Thank you so very much for answering our questions, and we will continue to listen. Brother Aline,
you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nicholas Bedford, my co-host. And we are now ready for our commercial break. We are now ready for our commercial break after the questions from YouTube and Zoom. We thank all our YouTubers and our Zoomers for sending in their questions. And we are now pause for worthy cause from our sponsors.
The Bridgetown Seventh-day Adventist Primary School continues to strive to be at the cutting edge of educational innovation. Our school has been planning for online learning since early February, and it was drawn to our attention that the first outbreaks of COVID-19 in China were becoming a matter for concern. We saw the implications of the pandemic for education even before any cases were diagnosed in Barbados. Proactive protocols were wisely put in place and platforms selected to facilitate learning. Numerous weeks of training were conducted with the assistance of teachers. Also, parents, Mr. Olga Graves and Mr. Jonathan Richards, who are competent specialists in the relevant IT platforms, assisted. Our surveys have found that as we began school on time on the 14th of May, online learning, though not without its challenges, has been a resounding success. Our students are actively learning, and our parents are taking a more hands-on approach to their educational experience. They have not only helped to train our teachers in the use of online platforms, but have also offered input through donations, supervision, and in keeping our students on track. Parents communicate closely with the teachers on a daily basis. Even PTA meetings have gone online. Can you imagine Over 200 students and parents joining on Zoom for worship in an online chapel session every Friday morning. These experiences have strengthened homeschool bonds as parents now see their children interact in the classroom with the experienced, caring teachers from home. Seeing is truly believing. Our teachers have enhanced their ability to use a variety of platforms for online instruction. They are utilizing Zoom for FaceTime and G Suite's Google Classroom to keep subjects organized. They have become proficient in working with both of these, but in addition, a number of others are used to create variety. Our children love Brain Pop, quizzes, Kahoot, Jamboard, and of course, YouTube has replaced the encyclopedia in every home. Library sessions are still enjoyed through RazKids. Students are using Google Docs and forms to submit assignments. These are graded automatically in real time. Graphic organizers, mind maps, and Venn diagrams are being submitted via email. Even PowerPoint presentations and experiments done by the students are screen shared. Crossing every new frontier comes with obstacles, and this is not untrue for online learning. Implementation of the best technology isn't always successful, and the best plans sometimes fail. For teachers, the hours of preparation are long and physically hard, and the bandwidth often too low. Zoom drops out, and parents, though uninvited, drop in. The time isn't enough, and the children need more breaks from synchronous learning. The Google form sometimes don't load up, and the electricity goes down. But the positives have far outweighed these challenges. Many of our students had issues with the lack of or shared devices in homes. But caring stakeholders in Adventist education have seen it necessary to provide for them. The principal, Mr. Winslow Ben, makes deliveries of devices that the school has sourced with the assistance from gracious donors to children's homes. Christian education has now extended to caring about whether a child is online, whether he's able to learn from home with his mommy, or if she has found a babysitter, whether they can afford the utility bill for internet. This is the new normal, and it would not change. We are willing to keep forging ahead because truly, teaching and caring is what Adventist education is all about.
We want to thank our sponsors, so we're gonna ask our producers to close the video and the audio. Okay, right, we are back. We are back. We just want to welcome all those who just joined us. I know my colleague from work just joined us. She's on YouTube. We just want to show all of our YouTube viewers, listeners, all those on Zoom. We just want to let you know we are here live, and we have with us Claudette Moore. She's from the NIS, and we are talking about how during COVID, how your NIS will be affected. And she's answered all of your questions. And we just have a few more questions. A person WhatsApp me, so just let me read it for you quickly, Mrs. Moore. Let me just read it for you quickly. This person said, and I'm going to read it for you quickly. Person said, I want to know why people who are self-employed and pay NIS are not entitled to get unemployment funds. I want to know why people who are self-employed and pay NIS are not entitled to unemployment funds.
Okay, very good question. And that is a question that we have been getting quite regularly since the onset of this COVID, because yes, self-employed people are paying 17.1% into the National Insurance Fund. And they might rightfully think, well, I pay my contributions, I have a right to my benefit. Unfortunately, out of that 17.1%, nothing goes into the unemployment fund. They do not contribute. As I just mentioned, when your contributions come to national insurance, We set it out into different funds, just like your bank account. You send some money to your bank account or your credit union. You say send some to savings, send some to line of credit, send some to whatever. Same thing happens when your contributions come to the national insurance. So when a self-employed person pays national insurance, nothing out of that 17.1% goes into the unemployment fund.
Okay.
That is why they cannot draw anything out of the unemployment fund. However, I must note that they are entitled to every other benefit except the unemployment benefit and the employment injury benefit. So if you fall sick, you can get a sickness benefit, a maternity benefit. If Lord forbids and you fall and you die, your spouse can get some monies from us, some survivors. So all other benefits except the unemployment benefit and the employment injury benefit and disablement.
Okay, noted. And what I want you to do now, it says that you prepared a PowerPoint presentation for us, and if there's anything you want to go through that we did not cover in our questions, and you want to share with us from your PowerPoint, you can do so now. So you can share your screen and go through anything that we have not covered that you thought that would be interesting to our guests, our listeners, our viewers.
Okay.
Yes. And yes.
Let's see if there is anything. I talked about how we qualify for the unemployment benefit. I don't think I mentioned how to make your actual claim. So I'm going to show you the different ways that I can talk to you about the different ways in which you can claim your unemployment benefit, because we have a number of people who are unemployed, and so there are various ways. And in order to avoid that face-to-face contact, because we are trying to reduce the interactions, we have made the facility, as I mentioned earlier, available online so that you can claim your unemployment benefit. So I am looking for that slide that tells you how to claim. Oh yes, here we go. All right, so the online application, which is what we are encouraging, since as I said, we are trying to avoid persons coming into the office. So to claim your unemployment benefit online, you go to our website, www.nis.gov.bb. On that homepage, you are going to see a link saying unemployment application form. You download, print, complete, and sign that form. And you can either scan it or you can send a picture of it to us along with the green paper. Its official name is Determination of Services Layoff Certificate. You send that to this email address, employee3forms@bginis.gov.bb. After you've done that, every 3 weeks, so from that initial date, 3 weeks after that, you go to the website again, and again, there's a link on the homepage, the unemployment declaration form. And this is a web form that you can just complete and click submit, and it will reach us as well. So this is how you do your online application. And as I said, we are encouraging you to do that so that we don't have so much face-to-face interactions, and we will help to reduce the spread of the COVID here in Barbados. All right, if you have no facilities that you can do that, then you can visit the office. You must come along with some valid form of picture ID, and you will submit your green form there, the green paper there, and you'll make your claim there in person. After that, again, if you choose that you do not have access to the online facilities, you come back to us every 3 weeks at the E. Humphrey Walcott building to complete your unemployment declaration form. And basically you're coming back 3 weeks to say, yes, I'm still unemployed. Yes, I have been in the island. I was looking for work, but there was no work available. That's why you're coming back to us every 3 weeks to tell us, yes, it is so that I am still unemployed, because we don't pay benefits forever because you may have gone back out to work. And at this point, I must also say that on the online application form, if you go back out to work, there's a section called employment details. You complete that part telling us who is your employer and the date you were reemployed. So that is how you are making your claims for unemployment benefit. And we, as I said, we hope that we can do something for you for the other claims, because we have a new way of doing things now where we're trying to do most things electronically. So, but for right now, the unemployment claim is available to be accessed online.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes,
that was
so
it. That was it. Because we have a few more questions.
Oh no, there's one more thing
Okay.
I must say about short-time benefit, because this is something that is a little bug for us as well. Currently, not currently, we have always done it. National insurance has a threshold on which you pay your national insurance. You may be one of these rich people who are in a $20,000 a month job. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but one of you all in the audience, I'm sure probably there, but you're earning $20,000 a month. The maximum on which you are paying national insurance now is $4,880. Last year, it was let me say that now, not coming up, 4,820. So it's now 4,880. Last year it was 4,820. So when you submit your claims for national insurance, we are not going to pay you 60% of your $20,000, because that's not what you paid contributions on. In your relevant quarter, anybody, as I said earlier, coming off now in the month of May, looking at your relevant quarter, October to December, we are looking to see what you paid contributions on then, and it will only have been $4,820. Also, that is very important in terms of the short-time benefit, because even today I saw a case where a person was earning more than the maximum. So obviously the employer says, okay, I'm going to cut you in half, but then they probably learned, oh, it got to be more than half. So they cut them down to a 27%. But even at that 27%, there were more than the 50% of what they were earning. Because if you're earning $10,000 and you come down to 2,000 and you only paid, not 2,000, let's say you come down to 2,700 and you paid national insurance on 4,820, 2,700 is more than half of your 4,820. So even though your earnings have been cut drastically because you're way over the threshold, you are not going to qualify for short-time benefit. So that's an important thing too, because we find that a lot of the managerial staff are over that threshold. Employers are cutting them, but it is still not falling to 50%, to more than 50% of the maximum insurable earnings.
Okay.
That is a point that we must remember as well. I would advise, if you're going to cut your managers, that you probably check with the National Insurance Office first and see what may be the best way to do that, because it might be better to put them on a week on, week off basis or something like that, because most of them will not qualify once they're over that threshold of 4,840.
Right, that was going to be my next question. Asking, should employers, I really think personally that all employers going through this should sit down with the National Insurance Board. So given the fact that, just imagine we have managers here who are listening to us, what would you recommend for them to do given their situation? They want to put persons on short time, they want to do all those type of things. Tell me the names of the person or the contact areas or the categories where these persons can call to get the information, because their jobs, what they're doing right now is stress, and they need to put persons on short time, they need to put persons on leave, they need to do something. What should they do in terms of coming to the NIS or calling the NIS, or who should they call?
All right, we have the customer service section, as I said, the call center. We have 467-4647. One of the agents, they should be able to assist you. If they cannot, then they will refer you to someone who will be able to. However, what I would advise, if these employers are part of the Employers Confederation, the Barbados Employers Confederation, the Hotel Association, one of those associations, I myself do presentations for them on a regular basis. I did one up to last week. So I would suggest that if they are not a member, they could join up and be a member, or they can go through that organization to get some support, because then here again is where we can come out and we will do a presentation. No, not come out, we're doing the Zoom now. We will do a presentation where I will have more time to sit and go through the actual process. So I would advise you to do that. But as I said, you call the contact center at 467-4647. And if the agent is unable to assist, then she can transfer you to someone who will be able to.
Great. We have a couple more questions, and my producers have allowed me a couple more minutes. This question, it just came in on WhatsApp. Will benefits I receive affect my pension in any way? Will benefits I receive affect my pension in any way?
Here again, I'm going to share my screen so you can see the visual of why people always say that they do, but they actually do not. So I am going to take you to what we refer to as credited contributions. Wait. Credited contributions, okay? Because people always think, oh, if I claim benefits during my lifetime, it's going to affect my pension. Actually, if you claim benefits during your lifetime, it is better for you, because then you will have what we refer to as a credited contribution for any period that we paid you a benefit. It is better to have a credited contribution to your account than to have no contributions to your account. The credited contribution works in a way where, all right, if we pay you a benefit and that benefit was for a period that was from a Monday to a Saturday, we are going to award you what we call a credited contribution. You have not worked because you were on sick leave, you were on maternity leave, whatever. Director is very generous. You didn't pay us any money because you didn't earn any money for that week, so your employer cannot pay us any contributions. However, because we pay you a benefit, we are going to award you a credited contribution. So we have said, here, this is a gift for you. We pay you the benefit, and we're going to pretend like if you paid us a contribution. And we call that a credited contribution. And as I have noted here, they help you to qualify for your benefits, because there are some benefits that will say, like the unemployment one I referred to earlier, that will say to you, you must have 7 contributions paid or credited. So let's say the person during the relevant period did not work at all. They were on maternity leave and they did not work. The employer could not pay contributions because he paid them no earnings. But we paid you 12 weeks of maternity benefit. We will award you 12 credited contributions once we had 12 Mondays to Saturdays in there. So come later on in life, and we are looking for 500 contributions for you, paid or credited, and you have only 499 contributions paid, we can say, hey, look, she has 12 credited contributions, and that will take you to your qualifying border. So your credited contributions will help you. So basically the answer to that is it will not have any effect on your pension. It actually has a positive effect for you.
Thank you so much for answering that question, Mrs. Moore. And we've run out of time, and there are questions coming in all over the chat, all on WhatsApp and so on. I'm just letting you know, if you just go on www.nis.gov.bb, those questions that you're asking can be answered just right there. And also you can call in, and their customer service rep will also help you if you have any questions that you may have. So I just want to thank all of the persons who join us on YouTube, all the persons who join us on Zoom. We thank you for coming. We also want to thank Mrs. Claudette Moore for ably, and this, I take this not lightly, she ably assisted us in helping us to understand all of these things that we've asked, all of the questions, the concerns that we had, all of the cobwebs that we had about the NIS. She ably conducted herself well. I can give you a tick to your manager and send a tick to your manager, make sure that, you know, he gives you something special. Yes. And I just want to let you know, we have joining us some very special guests. We have our education director, Dr. Daphne McGlure. She joined us. Also the principal of the primary school, Mr. Winslow Ben. Also, we have the principal of the secondary school. So we have our sponsors right here with us, the Bridgetown SDA Primary School and the Barbados Secondary School, and also Clayton's Fresh Vegetables. So we just thank all our sponsors. We thank the St. Thomas District for allowing us to use their Zoom platform again. And And just remember, next week we have a very special topic for you. We're looking at online classes. So we're going to have the principal. We're going to try to have both principals of the Barbados Secondary School and the Bridgetown and the Barbados SDA Primary School with us. And we're going to have a wonderful session next week. We're looking at online school, all of those difficult things, all those easy things. You never know. We're going to discuss all of those things next week. Again, I am your host, Justin Allen, and thank you for joining us on Thursday Night Talk TNT. And we've just discussed how COVID-19 will affect you and your NIS. And we've had Claudette Moore joining us from the NIS. She did a wonderful job, wonderful presentation. We thank her. And we're going to just close off in prayer. So just let us close off in prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise that we've had electricity, we've had internet, we've had a wonderful session. We've learned a little bit more about how COVID-19 will affect us, our NIS situation, and we are better informed now. We are supposed to check our NIS contributions from our employer. We are supposed to go online and do all those checks to make sure that we are on safe footing. So help us as we are informed now to make wise decisions, Father, as we go forward. So we thank Claudette Moore for joining us, and we thank you, Father, for all the blessings. Guide and direct our night in Jesus' name. Amen. So again, Claudette Moore, we are indebted to you. Thank you. We thank the NIS on our behalf.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And again, any questions, comments, you can always contact us at our 467-4647 or customer.service@bginis.gov.bb. Thanks, everyone. I trust that you have been more informed.
Yes. And here you go. You see our producers are sharp. See, they have the information here, the telephone number, the website, the customer service, and the website.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, so everyone take care and be safe.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Good night to you. And until next week, my name is Justin Allen, signing off for Thursday Night Talk, TNT, the best place to be on Thursday night. And as usual, we have our yard session. If you want to say hello to someone you didn't see for a long time, you can do so now. And there are a lot of persons on YouTube, a lot of persons on Zoom. And we just want to thank you for coming out again. Bye-bye.